Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. An extra piece of hardware has been confirmed to be on the line for the showdown between Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin on September the 14th in Las Vegas. The WBC has come in and said it will put a Mayan belt on the line, a commemorative belt. So I'll get to their statement in a moment, but this situation has caused some angst with another sanctioning body, with the WBO president attacking the WBC over this Mayan belt being on the line. But it's also not the only Mayan belt that's being put out for a fight this month. And in case you're wondering why it would be on the line, so September the 16th is Independence Day in Mexico, and generally the WBC puts out these different commemorative belts, maybe not necessarily the Mayan belt, but they have different ones that they've been putting out over the years. And had Canelo Alvarez been fighting in September, which is usually his custom, I have no doubt that it would have actually gone to the fight which Canelo would have been in. But he's not fighting, so the WBC had to decide what was it going to do. And on social media a couple of weeks ago, they actually put out 4 different fights and said, which one would you like to see a Mayan belt on display for? And instead of coming back with one, they've settled on 2. So now I'll get to the social media post from the WBC, and we'll go through it and on to the WBO stuff, and then followed by a few thoughts, because the belt situation aside, I think, it's getting close to Tyson Fury's return, the second fight for 2019. Couple of thoughts I wanted to drop on that. But starting with the WBC, it's posted from Instagram. The WBC will present 2 Mayan belts to commemorate the September 16 fights. May 5 and September 16 have become something like the Super Bowls of boxing due to Mexican holidays that are celebrated abroad and that create sold-out boxing events. For this situation, the WBC created special belts to celebrate those dates, and for the September 14, we will give a Mayan belt to the winner of Gypsy King vs. Otto Wallin, and a second belt to the winner of Jaime Munguia and Patrick Elote, per voted by the fans. The Mayan belt is not a championship, but a mere trophy commemorating the date and recognizing the winner of the fight. And obviously you may have picked up there that the dates don't exactly line up, so September 16 and Tyson Fury fighting on September 14, but it's close enough, I guess. The September 16 is a Monday. So a Mayan belt going to be on the line here, and like me, you might have sort of been thinking, well, that's a little bit curious given that Tyson Fury isn't Mexican, but obviously the WBC have decided that this is, of the 4 fights that were up there, along with the one involving Jaime Munguia, who's also a champion, a Mexican champion I might add, that this one deserved to have some sort of commemorative status attached to it. So Tyson Fury, he's reacted, see here on screen, big thanks to WBC Boxing for selecting me to fight for their prestigious Mayan belt. Massive honor for me. I almost feel Mexican. Hashtag Viva Mexico MX. But one that's not quite so happy is the WBO president, Paco Valcárcel, on Twitter saying, what the hell are these people from another sanctioning body doing, handing out copper and silver Mayan pearl-studded aluminium Aztec belts and bouts sponsored by other organizations to contenders who don't really care about these palooka belts? This needs to stop. Enough already. So that is the WBO president voicing his displeasure at the WBC, seemingly from his position, swooping in and putting something on the line. And you might be wondering, well, what's the sort of skin in the game here for the WBO? So if we go to the rankings, you can see here, Tyson Fury is ranked number 2 in the WBO currently, and he's a belt holder. He has one of their more significant belts within the WBO, the Intercontinental Strap. And you might be wondering, okay, well, isn't he quite highly ranked in the WBC? And the answer is yes, number 2 in the WBC, but he doesn't currently hold any minor titles within the WBC. So the WBO, obviously thinking that it was going to be the big guy on the street for the September 14th fight in Las Vegas involving Otto Wallin and Fury, feels that the WBC is obviously sort of inching into its territory and it doesn't like it. But I mean, let's be real here. So the WBO sort of crying about this. I mean, a lot of these sanctioning bodies have far too many belts. The WBO also has a number of, regional and minor titles that really aren't sort of worth much, but obviously they put a lot of stock into it because they get sanctioning fees. So I'm not quite sure what the situation is here with the WBC, if there is any money changing hands, but given it's a commemorative belt, I wouldn't have thought so, but don't quote me on that. But it's quite an interesting situation that there is this fight involving two non-Mexicans, Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin, in Las Vegas. It's not in Mexico, on September 14th, and the strap has been put on the line. And obviously Tyson Fury, he's likes that it is going to be on the line here, and should he win that fight, it's another sort of commemorative strap for the trophy cabinet, I guess. But, it's interesting that the WBO coming out so strongly over the WBC's actions here, and maybe we'll see some sort of response from WBC President Mauricio Suleiman at some point. But yeah, quite interesting that there's going to be a little bit of extra hardware on the line here. It doesn't necessarily mean too much in terms of the context of the fight, or even if Fury wins, it doesn't exactly change anything, and it's not going to boost him up any rankings or anything like that. But yeah, there will be additional hardware for this fight on September 14. And that brings me to the next sort of couple of thoughts that I wanted to just... Oh, and if you're looking here on screen, this is another post from the WBC. They had presented some Mayan belts in Mexico City to a couple of other fighters. So this is what it looks like here. Anyway, Tyson Fury fighting on September 14th. It's about 10 days away now at the time this video was published. I'm looking forward to seeing how Tyson Fury is going to sort of look in the ring there. Obviously, against Tom Schwartz, it was his first fight of the year. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty dangerous, pretty devastating against a limited opponent. And you may have seen Tom Schwartz has already had a comeback fight. He knocked over a journeyman just a week or two ago. He has another fight scheduled at the end of September. But Tyson Fury, you may recall, had offered for Tom Schwartz to fight on his next undercard. Schwartz is currently provisionally suspended from fighting in Las Vegas. I think that suspension is for about 6 months. That's not because of any sort of drug-related issues. It's more of a welfare issue. He fought in that commission. He's got to serve out a certain amount of time before he can fight again. Remember, he was taken out by Tyson Fury, battered and bruised in that one. So I think Fury's offer to Schwartz will probably still be good at some point. Probably he'll have to join a card in 2020 if he wants to take up that opportunity. But I digress. So Tyson Fury, he had a weigh-in just, I think it was about a week or so ago. He was roughly 258 pounds. And that's about the same as he was against Deontay Wilder back on December 1st, 2018 when they fought. Fury is looking sharper and in better condition. If you've seen some of the training clips, he's looking pretty slick, and I expect another similar performance in terms of the way he moves, the way he's looking, in terms of the impact of what he's doing in the ring against Otto Wallin. I don't necessarily think that Otto Wallin is going to fall over like Tom Schwartz did in 2 rounds, because he's got better technical skills than Tom Schwartz. He's not going to be necessarily going for a knockout. He's going to be moving with Fury. He'll be trying to mitigate some of what Fury's doing through some of his own movements. Ultimately, I think the bigger, taller man Tyson Fury will have far too much for Otto Wallin, and that extra reach that he has over Wallin, which is about half a dozen inches or so, is going to prove vital in this fight. I think he will be looking to jab Otto Wallin's face off, and Wallin may get peppered a bit too much and potentially even stopped, maybe mid-rounds, something like that. I think if Tyson Fury puts the hammer down at some point, starts to hold his feet and really let his hands go, he might be able to take Otto Wallin out. But yeah, I know that I haven't exactly been too high on this fight, but Tyson Fury is one of the best in the division, and I am looking to see him back in the ring. The activity is good, although the opponent isn't what I would have liked to have seen. And it remains to be seen what will happen with the rematch with Wilder, if that is in fact next after this fight, or if Fury will in fact take a fight at the end of the year in the UK, as he has suggested he may well do. He only has to have 2 fights in America under his ESPN and Top Rank co-promotional deal, so he could squeeze one in December if he wants, but I guess that sort of depends on how other chips fall within the division. Deontay Wilder has obviously come out and said he doesn't necessarily want to face Fury next. He would like Fury to step aside so he can potentially chase the winner of Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, the rematch. But this Mayan belt situation, what do you make of it? Should something like this be on the line for this fight, and what do you make of the WBO having a pot shot at the WBC? Although it's also got a whole flurry of belts itself. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.